From his own mother calling him a and a tyrant, to the bizarre sex scandal you probably never heard about. These are facts about Dana White that he wants to keep on the down low. I'll start with June White's scathing unofficial biography. Who knows you better than your own mom, right? Especially if she's been a single mother, raising you and your sister by herself since you were 7. So if she's the one calling you a people might be willing to hear her out. Or, well, in this case, read it through. June White released an official biography about her son titled Dana White, the King of MMA. The title makes it sound like the former nurse is proud of her son. I mean, we're talking about the president of the UFC, a man worth $500 million after all. But no, June's unofficial biography is a scandalous review of how Dana turned his back on his family. According to the former nurse, Dana's thrived on creating an image for himself as a man who made it through on his own. But that's not accurate. She claims that he's always had people out there who helped him, and that growing up, Dana was a problem child. Never did his chores, didn't listen to anyone, always wanted his way, and never held a job. Oh, and another interesting thing. Turns out Dana was a neat freak. His mom claims he changed his clothes 2 or 3 times a day. Her book also recalls a pretty heartbreaking time for the family, when Dana reportedly left his 93-year-old grandmother high and dry. The only money June's ever seen from Dana's millions was a $5,000 check over a decade ago. But she said that she was fine with that. She didn't need the money. What she wanted, however, was for Dana to come and help out his grandmother, who had helped raise the president of the UFC. June claimed that she sent an email to her son asking him what had happened to him, and urged him to help out his grandmother who lived in a trailer park in Florida and survived on her monthly retirement checks. But do you know how White responded? Sure, the guy's known for being a loudmouth, but you wouldn't expect him to be a loudmouth with his own mother, right? Wrong. White allegedly replied, "Who the f*** are you? No one talks to me like that." And that's the last she's ever heard from him. The family, including White's sister, reportedly cut all contact with White when they realized he turned cruel. White, however, has always claimed that everything that he is today is because of his own efforts. And well, maybe because of the money he borrowed from mobster Whitey Bulger. Imagine being run out of Boston by the mob. Who else but White, right? Okay, so back when Dana was working as a boxer-size coach in Boston, Whitey Bulger of the Winter Hill Gang caught wind of Dana's success and wanted a cut. Dana in turn asked for $2,500. At this point, Dana's business was doing well, but when Bulger called looking to collect, Dana said he booked a Delta ticket to Vegas, packed everything he had in a suitcase, and moved away from Boston. Dana actually mentioned Kevin Weeks as the guy who'd been intimidating him. Sure, it wasn't fun for Dana back then, but hey, it makes for a great story today, right? You heard me say boxer size back there, and I bet you have some questions. So yes, Dana White tried to become a boxer back in the day. After dropping out of college twice, he decided to look for work. And for a long time, the UFC prez took up any and every job he could find. This included being a bouncer, laying asphalt, and other part-time jobs. The only full-time job he actually managed to find was a boxing coach.
Do you want to be a fighter? That's the question. It's not about cutting weight. It's about, do you want to be a fighter? It's up to you.
White had been an amateur boxer back in his younger years, but everyone claims that he was never any good at it. I mean, apparently he did okay, but not enough to actually pursue it. But you know what they say, right? Those who can't do, teach. So Dana became a boxer-size coach for a while. The president of the UFC has, however, maintained a love for boxing to this day. But ironically enough, the well-renowned gambler won't ever bet on a boxing match, all because of one bad bet. The one time White lost $1 million live sport bet. Back in 2007, Jermaine Taylor was 5-0 in his WBO and WBC middleweight title defense. And everyone, including Dana, was sure he'd make it to 6, especially since his opponent was a fresh kid off the block, Kelly Pavlik. Dana was so sure that Taylor would kill Pavlik that he bet $1 million on Taylor that night. In one of the most surprising upsets of all time, Pavlik defeated Taylor and became the title holder for 3 whole years. It was memorable for everyone, and of course, Dana, because he lost $1 million and ruined his vacation. He claimed that he was in Cabo when he got the notification, and it ruined his mood so badly that he swore off betting on live sports that day, and it's a promise he's still keeping. But besides this hiccup, Dana's known for having an appetite for blackjack, so much so that he's banned from the Palms. Did you know that in a single night of playing blackjack, Dana once won $7 million? True story. And on an average night, he makes close to $500,000. The Palms was so done with White bleeding them dry that they decided to ban him in style by giving him a belt that read Undisputed Blackjack Winner 24-0, with the understanding that he wouldn't come back to the casino. I'm sure that was something White found pretty hilarious. But what wasn't so funny was his 2020 sex scandal. Back in 2015, there was a major sex scandal involving an unnamed businessman and a rendezvous with an exotic nightclub dancer in Brazil. Now, it could have been anyone, but it wasn't. It was Dana White. For context, White's been married to Ann White since 1996. The exotic dancer allegedly recorded her and White having sex in a hotel room on her cell phone camera, then gave the video to her live-in boyfriend, real estate agent Ernesto Joshua Ramos, who then allegedly began to extort White for money. According to case details, White tipped this woman over $200,000 in the few months he'd been seeing her, and would pay her $10,000 whenever he was in town to take her back to his hotel room. Ramos asked White for an additional $200,000 to keep the video from going public. And what did White do? He sued him. But wait, it's about to get a whole lot messier, because Ramos claims White made him plead guilty. Ramos claimed that he never tried to extort Dana, but that yes, the video did exist. In court, Ramos claimed that White and his associates asked Ramos to plead guilty, with the understanding that the federal judge would block out all details of Dana's role in the scandal, and he'd pay Ramos $450,000. In exchange, Ramos would have to serve a 366-day prison term. But Ramos claimed that Dana never paid up. So, in retaliation, he filed his own claim against White and his associates for an excess of $2 million. And this time, he made sure that he named White in his complaint, which is the only reason why the matter made headlines, but only briefly. Because not only did Dana dismiss the claims, but the judge also found that Ramos didn't have a leg to stand on for the case to go forward. Knowing Dana, he probably scrubbed the internet clean of that scandal, which is why you've probably never heard of it. So, from a sex scandal that could have ruined him, to his mother calling him cruel, those were facts about Dana White that he wants to keep on the down low.